So Patti, what is My Birth, My Choice?
Well, Sally, in its simplest form, it is an online toolkit geared at empowering women to make better birth choices for themselves and their babies.
And why is it needed?
Well, I worked for 8 years in the UK around natural birth and helping moms through the more emotional side of motherhood. And then I moved to South Africa, and I was absolutely horrified to find that the private sector Caesar rate was around 70%. And my question was like, why? What is going on here? And everyone I spoke to and all the information that I read, newspapers, magazines, online, indicated that the moms were wanting the Caesars. So that year I was working at the Durban Baby Show, and I started to ask moms, well, what kind of birth do you want? What would you like? And the answer would come back natural. And the next one would be natural. And the next one would be natural. And after 3 days, over 80% of the women that I spoke to indicated that they actually wanted natural childbirth. And I was like, what on earth is going on in this country where we have a 70+% Caesar rate and yet 80% of the women are actually wanting natural births? And so what I started to do was question, how can we solve this problem? What are the steps that we could take? What could we do to help educate women much, much better so that the choices they make, the decisions they make, then influence their birth experience positively so they don't end up with a Caesar that they don't want.
And why is it at such an important point in a woman's life they're not making an informed decision?
Well, statistically in the private sector, only 10% of women are actually researching their birth options, which is insane. I mean, it's like the biggest event in your whole life. But it's because of how the system is set up. So what normally happens is that a woman will go to her gynecologist will be her main source of information, but that information is quite specific to their physical health. It doesn't take into consideration their mental health, it doesn't take into consideration their emotional health or well-being. And so what I was seeing with the women that I was working with was when they had a much broader education and specifically understood how their hormones would affect the birth process, i.e. if you're stressed, your uterus doesn't work efficiently. If you're relaxed, the uterus functions beautifully. That's key, that piece of information. So I looked at designing specific information geared at solving the problem instead of just giving them information about their physical health. So that's how it evolved.
So it's focusing on the emotional and the physical?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what I found with the women I was working with is when they were given all the information, they made better decisions and their birth experiences were completely different. They came out the other side feeling calm, feeling relaxed, feeling what I call in the toolkit like superheroes, versus feeling traumatized or numbed by the experience.
So you're saying you can take control and have the knowledge?
Yes, I mean, that's where I'm heading, and I would love for every woman, no matter what she chooses, this is not just about natural childbirth. If somebody wants to choose a Caesar, great, choose a Caesar, but choose it from a place of knowledge. Don't choose it from a place of fear.
What is the toolkit giving you?
Well, it's an online toolkit. It consists of 6 short video clips, literally taking women by the hand and leading them through the information that they need to make a better decision, helping them understand how does my body work, helping them understand what options are available to me. And then it ends up with an amazing 6-step formula of the exact kind of stops they need to make on the roadmap in order to have their best possible birth experience. And then at the end of the toolkit, we've included a relaxation CD so that they can kind of help their bodies release endorphins, help their bodies relax immediately.
So in the long term, what are your goals?
Well, what I would like to achieve is there are 120,000 women birthing in the private sector in South Africa every year. My goal is to get this toolkit into the hands of every single one of those women. Your birth memory lasts forever. I met a woman the other day, she'd had 7 children, and she could tell me the exact time that she went into labor, when she transferred to hospital, what was going on with every single one of those births. Your gynae's not going to remember. The other people at your birth are not necessarily going to remember, but you will remember. So the message is, make sure that you make decisions that give you a good memory, that help you to remember your birth happily.
So in a nutshell, what do you believe the toolkit will deliver?
Well, what I'm hoping is that it will deliver specific information that will empower women to make better birth choices.